Hello, my beautiful friends. It's Amanda here, and today we're talking about the latest product release from ColourPop. These are the Chrome shadows. We've already seen a little sneak peek of this formula from the Legend of Korra collection. Now we have 9 new shades. These are already available. As of the time I'm recording this, they launched yesterday, so you can get them already on the ColourPop site. And they did let me know that some select shades will be available at Ulta soon. These are priced at $12 each, and if you decide to buy these from the ColourPop site, you can use my affiliate code. It's just my first name, Amanda, and that will save you 10% on most things on the ColourPop site. Some exclusions apply, including like sets and vaults and stuff, so just keep an eye on your cart total. Make sure you're getting the best deal possible. Today's video, I want to give you a really close-up look at all of these shades, because they are kind of hard to capture on camera. So I really want to give you as much information as possible. First, starting with just a close-up look at the packaging. These are the exact same size, same style packaging as the Multichrome liquid shadows from the Legend of Korra collection. These are very small, so make sure you check out that video to see a size comparison. These are only about 1.5 grams, so they are much, much smaller than a lip gloss, for example. These do have a flat, flexible paddle style applicator. And check out that matching nail game. It's so good. It matches the shadow so perfectly. Now I'm going to show you each one of the 9 shades in 3 different lighting situations. So here you're looking at glaze in studio light. Then I turn off all of my filming lights and just use my regular overhead indoor bulb. This is what it's going to look like when you're just hanging out in your house and whatnot. And then lastly, I want to show you a moving flash. That way you can really see the different shifts. And this also really brings out the sparkle as well. So hopefully this is helpful. I'm also going to show you a live swatch of each one of these shades. Like I said, I'm just trying my best to give you the most accurate representation because these shifty shadows change really quickly. They're going to look different in every different lighting situation, and I hope that between seeing all the different types of lighting, the live swatches, I'll also show you the swatches in different lighting. I'm going to show you more built up swatches because some of these can tend to look a little sheer or maybe a little patchy in certain light, but you can layer these up. So I'm going to show you that as well. And we're going to do a couple of comparisons with those Multichrome, the Chrome shadows from the Legend of Korra collection that launched not too long ago. There are some very, very similar shades. There are some very unique shades. Hopefully this video is going to give you everything you need to make a good decision because $12 for a small eyeshadow is pretty pricey. So you want to make sure that you're going to end up with the shade that you're really going to love, that you're going to enjoy, and that you're going to use up so that you get the best bang for your buck. Because of all these different swatches and everything, I wanted to focus on pure product info. So there's not a tutorial in today's video. However, you can go back to my Korra video and see 2 of those shades in action. Formula wise, these are really the same product, just in different shades. Now, some of them are more opaque than others, but I do find that I can layer them all. If I let the first layer completely dry down, then I can easily put a second coat on top to get full opacity and a more impactful color for some of these that are either just lighter and therefore look more sheer. I think particularly the first 2 were a little bit just more sheer looking because of how light they are. And same for this lighter green as well. I can get more of a color impact as well. And then for the deeper shades, I think they look initially more opaque in the brighter light, but you can see the kind of apparent patchiness more in the flash situation, but all of them can layer very nicely on top of themselves, as long as it's imperative to let the first layer dry first. And I get a pretty good wear time off of these. I'm not somebody that has oily lids, so I don't really struggle with my shadows disappearing and creasing and coming off as much as others, but I do have kind of creasy lids. I'm in my late 30s, so I got some little creases on the lids, and I do need to take care to make sure that the layers are drying down before I fully close and give my eye full mobility. Hopefully that makes sense. What I'm getting at is I do have to take a little extra care to make sure that these dry down nicely, keep my eye kind of closed so that my eyelids all the way flat as possible while I let the layers dry. And if I do that, then I get a great several hours of lovely wear time out of these. If you are somebody that has way more creasy lids or more oily lids, you may have a different experience. But personally, I do find a good wear time off of these. They're not disappearing and they're not shedding the little sparkles all over my face for me. So I'm not mad at it. I do think that the darker colors wear better. Those have just more opacity, and I guess I don't need to work as hard to get the look that I want from these deeper shades. And honestly, these are the colors that I personally prefer more anyway. If I'm going for a shadow like this, I like this impactful, shifty, jewel tone type of look. So it could just be that I'm giving those more preference in my life because of my color preference as well. But I'm happy with these performance wise, and I'm not somebody who loves a liquid shadow. I also like that these work well with powder shadows on top as either a shifty base or maybe in conjunction with a similarly toned duochrome or multichrome shadow. These work beautifully in that way, and most often that's how I'm going to use these, is in conjunction with powder shadows as well. I rate these chrome shadows as in between. For me personally, I don't like them as much as Jelly Much shadows, but I like them more than the shadow sticks. So this is a very in between type of product for me. However, I do find myself being pleasantly surprised because, like I just mentioned, I'm not somebody that really gravitates towards a product like this. So for me to actually enjoy these as much as I have is a pleasant surprise. Now, my two favorite shades from the 9 that we're looking at here are this one, Supernova, the one that I'm swatching right now, and then the darker green shade called Beetle. I just see myself wearing those shades the most, and I really enjoy the consistency of those two shadows. Particularly Beetle is really, I think, the best texture wise. It just applies so smoothly, easily, and it's the most opaque on first swipe for me. So I'm very impressed by that one, but you know me, I am a purple girl. No matter how much my love of green shadow has grown over these past couple of years, I will always be a purple eyeshadow girl at heart. So I definitely can't resist that Supernova shade as well. Now, I've finished all of the swatches. You got to see them being applied in real time. Now, let's look at all of these swatches in a bunch of different lighting situations. First here, labeled, is just straight up the studio lighting. These are the bright lights and the ring light and everything that I use for filming all of my videos. Here you can definitely see where some of the shades don't look as opaque from every angle. And what I want to do is show you what it looks like to layer these up now that the first few swatches are dry, because I've been filming the live swatches. I'm going to go back over and do a second layer so that you can see really how well these react to being layered up like this, and truly how much more solid and opaque you can make these shadows look. I didn't do all of them because I'm going to show you the same type of process in the darker lighting as well. Now switching over to the regular indoor lighting, just the overhead light bulb in this room, and the shades that I didn't layer up, you can tell those darker shades in particular, you can really see more of that patchiness the darker the light gets. Except for Beetle, look how good Beetle looks, and I did not layer that one up. That is truly just the nicest consistency, in my opinion. Here's a close-up look at these shadows. I'm really stressing the overhead lighting because I think that's the most common lighting situation most of us are going to be in most of the time. In your house, at school, at work, wherever it is, most of us are going to be in just a regular overhead lighting situation. But I can't resist the flash. I love the way this shows off the sparkles, the shifts, and how dynamic these shadows can be. It also kind of shows off the patchiness of the deeper shades, like I said, but I am going to go and layer those up now that those latter shades have started to completely dry down. You can see how much of a difference a second layer can make for those deeper shades as well. I know, as usual, I'm being so extra with my swatches and probably doing too much with the layers and the lighting and all of that, but I do hope that this is helpful. I like to provide this type of information, especially for more expensive products like this. And look at how pretty those three shades, the blue purple shades, are the ones that I added a second layer to, and look at how stunning. The difference is incredible. Just if you try to layer them up before the first layers dry, it will pull up and disrupt the evenness. So just keep that in mind. Be patient, it's worth it. Here are a couple of comparisons with the liquid shadows. I know I keep mentioning them, but it was a big deal when the Legend of Korra shades came out because it was the first time we were seeing them, and they are the only other ones at this point that exist in the ColourPop line. So I'm going to give you a little comparison with all of the different Legend of Korra shades. They are earth, water, air, and fire, so you're going to see those all swatched side by side with several of the new shades, again doing the most with all kinds of different lighting situations. I think the green and blue, you can tell the differences. Earth and water aren't exactly like any of these newer shades, but I do think they're kind of close enough. Like if you have earth and water, you don't really need the greens and blues necessarily from this new shade selection that dropped. And then we're really going to see a doozy here when we take a look at the air and fire shades. As you can see, the air shade is so close to Decode. Now, fire is definitely bringing something different. There's not really a bright pink, bright red type of shade in any of the new chrome shadows that just launched, but if you have air, you do not need Decode. I guess you could see a little difference here and there. You can pick out, the slightest tonal or depth difference. But once this is on your eyelid in a little tiny eyelid sized swatch, they look exactly the same. So this is the only one that I'm going to say is an exact dupe. You definitely don't need. I'm not really sure. I guess they like this color. It was probably a great seller. It's probably the type of color a lot of folks like. So I see why they've introduced this replacement shade in the permanent line, because clearly the Korra collection will be limited edition. But if you have one, you for sure don't need the other. That's it. I hope this video was helpful. I hope that I covered all my bases with the swatches. I would love to know what you think about these shadows. Are you going to be picking any of them up? Did you already order? Are you waiting for them to come to Ulta? I always love to hear what you think about things too. So make sure you leave all your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I love your little face. Bye!